Ooh,
I'm filled with all this holiday cheer.
mm. And I'm just cold. We got 7 inches of snow today here in Virginia.
My goodness.
That's too many inches.
You got a bunch of snow not that long ago, though. Yeah?
Se-
Yeah.
Uh, Seattle's weather chose not to identify. Just
Wow.
wow. Good for you. You're watching Seahawks games.
Yeah, it's hard when they're that bad.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun, but it has to have the right incentive structure. Otherwise,
Yeah.
no one's going to want to risk injury or whatever to do this tournament
It
in the middle of their season.
it can't be an all-star game, right? That's the point here.
Yeah.
This can't be an all-star game. It has to really matter, and that's sort of tough to do. What do you incentivize? Is it just money? Like you just try to throw some money at them? I don't know. Is this for seeding? Woj, not even taking Christmas off. Woj.
Mm. What a
That's why
bomb.
he's the man. That's why he's the man. Oh, interesting.
I think they should do it after Christmas.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the dead zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Until March Madness or whatever. So it'd be perfect if it was in January, February, and then you got March Madness right after. Read that
Yeah,
sentence again.
100,000 maybe?
100 million.
100
Yeah.
million? 1 million. Okay,
Oh,
well that's a lot of fucking money.
yeah. That's something. Even if you're on a max, like that's a pretty nice bonus.
Wait, does that mean like number 12 on the roster gets $1 million?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's cool.
That'd
That's
be
cool.
insane. That is cool. That's really cool. I I I think I think it's enough for enough. Like
Yeah,
it might not be the world to them, but if it's enough to 11 guys on that roster,
yeah,
number 12 is going to go in and play. They're going
yeah.
to go in and take it seriously. I like that. That
Yeah, that's
sounds
super cool. I didn't
blast.
think they would be able to go that high per player.
Yeah.
So that's high enough that I'm on board. That'd be great.
Right. Mhm. I don't watch anything All-Star Week. None of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanna know who wins the skills challenge, but I don't wanna watch it.
Every year I like or I should say for the like past couple of years, I've tried to get myself excited for it and be like, oh, like this will be great, like a little change of pace and like something different, but still the sports guys I like to watch. And I'm always just wildly disappointed to turn it off.
It's just
Even like
boring.
the dunk contest for like so long, that was so fun to watch. It's so exciting. And last like couple of years, it's just like, not, yeah.
Yeah. Even like a 3v3 tournament with active play like with all-stars would be fun. I saw a proposal for a king of the court, so 1v1s, like you stay on the court, if you score, you stay
Ooh.
in the defender changes and it's just 1v1s with straight all-stars playing king of the court. I think that would be fun.
Dude, what about 21? I would love to watch some NBA players play 21.
Yeah. They need something other than just a worse basketball game because that's all it is right now. It's
Right.
just a bad basketball game. So, like, you have all of the best players in the world in one place with no games for 2 weeks, and they're all expecting to play some version of basketball. Be creative, right? Like, make this exciting and fun. Don't just like throw them all out there and be like, yeah, it's a game, but just none of the people on the court care.
Yeah. Oh, that's
You're
the
right. That's
best part.
actually that's
Yeah,
the
that's
best
the
part
best
of
part.
All-Star
You're right.
Weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. That's the best part.
Mm,
Mhm.
name.
Bogdan Bogdanovic, same thing.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
he got that Atlanta contract. Very soon, he got a starting spot over Buddy Hield, partially because of his shooting and because of that contest. And then he got that big contract in Atlanta right afterwards.
He's got a legacy to uphold.
Yeah.
Mhm. Spice it up. I think a mid-season tournament, like exactly like we turned on this podcast, we're like, ah, not that much in NBA. It's kind of boring. Like this is a perfect time to implement just something to get the gears whirling a bit more.
If there was a mid-season tournament coming up, that's all we'd be talking about right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would instill a little bit of the playoff vibe and mentality into the middle of the season, which is the lull for every basketball fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do love the drama that's cultivated in a 7-game series, though. Like when you're 4 games in and Draymond Green has kicked Steven Adams in the balls twice, like that's just good basketball. Like that's a great story. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, yeah. hmm hmm
Yeah. And and you know what? When you have an 82 game season, I think this is similar for baseball. But for basketball, even 82 game season, none of those games matter that much. You
hmm
know, there's a saying in baseball that's absolutely true for basketball too, which is that every team's going to win a third of their games, every team's going to lose a third of their games, and then it's just what you do with the other third that counts. In basketball, the first half of the season is, or the first third of the season doesn't really matter at all. The second half, like, sort of matters, and the third half gets really interesting, and then playoffs are a blast. But
Yeah,
if
and
you
it's
can,
no secret. You just look at the way the guys play. Like it changes
right,
throughout the season so drastically. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, it's a great point.
yeah, true, yeah. Speaking of Clay, there are reports that he's coming back on Sunday to play the Cavs.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. NBA, get ready. I oh god, I hope he stays healthy so bad.
Oh, Clay, yeah, and then
Oh,
nothing would
it's
be
gonna be
more
so sad
sad than seeing him get
again.
injured again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, that's a terrible example. That's the exact example of what we're hoping doesn't happen to Clay Thompson.
Yeah, just the level that Boogie was playing at before all that happened is nowhere near what he's playing now.
Yeah. How about Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant's come
Yeah,
back and is the same dominant guy he's always been
yeah.
from an Achilles tear.
Yeah, Obi, similar injury, but it wasn't the succession is the like really where Cole's getting at. That like you break a couple times in a row and it's like it's a different
Yeah.
story. I
Yeah.
will say though, Clay, you know, he was such a well-rounded player in being a 3 and D player with great off-ball movement, and I think his career has plenty of opportunity for him to be a role player who just shoots, and he's lost, even if he loses a bunch of step and he can't move the same way he's done in the past. I think he still has a really sizable role in the NBA as just
Yeah.
being a spot up shooter. And so I think that that's something that definitely I don't know, it gives me hope that like even if he's not the same, he's gonna be Clay. We're still gonna see him splashing out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That explosive.
Shoot the ball.
Yeah. Well, before we stay on NBA too long and inevitably end up talking about Russell Westbrook, we should we should switch sports, get over to some NFL talk as we get very close to the playoffs here. People may remember This is actually the first time that we've had a week 18 in the
Yeah.
NFL. So we'd be heading into the playoffs right about now otherwise. Yeah. And you know what? Injuries not as bad as I mean, there were not a significant uptick in injuries like people were worried there might be.
Hmm. Hmm.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is one of those players where you every offseason you've looked at him and went, is this the one where he breaks? Like, is this
Right.
the one where his body like falls apart? Like this guy's averaging 30 touches a game or something. By far the most volume, by far the most physical player on the offensive side of the ball in the entire league. And you just can't do that forever. Even if you are built like Shrek, you can't do that forever.
Well, he's still like what, top five rushing yards for the season, being out since like October or whatever.
That can't be right. I don't know
Oh,
if that's true, but
years.
that would be wild.
It's something like that. I'll look it up right now.
Yeah,
No,
is
he's
that
not number one, but he's like top five.
yeah, you look that up. That would be insane. Speaking of top five, hey, that'd be something. Speaking of
He's
top five,
sixth in that. He's
no
sixth.
fucking kidding.
Yep. It's Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry. That's
That's
before tonight. Harris did have himself quite the night. So, oh, he's already ahead of him. So, but yeah, he's gonna fall after this next week for sure. But that's remarkable. I don't know when he went out, but I think it was October.
wow. That's wild. Um, wow. I think Derrick Henry is as impactful to the Titans as any player in the league is to their team. I mean, I think
Really
he
agree.
is. I think he is quarterback level impactful to that team. They are wildly different when he's out there. And we've seen teams. Remember Drew Brees going out 5 games. Teddy Bridgewater steps in, goes 5-0. Like there are these franchise quarterbacks that you can put in plugins behind them. Derrick Henry, they've had no answer for that man leaving the field. None. I think if he comes back, the Titans are immediately a contender again.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but they don't look good. They're-
Yeah, that'd be brutal. Very true.
That would be
That'll
huge
be
for them.
hugely impactful. What's their last game? That's the game to watch.
Texans.
Who?
Texans. That's a
Oh,
pretty
not a game to
good game.
watch, but
No, 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 but a
a
pretty
good
good game
matchup.
if you're the Titans. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, true.
Speaking of the Chiefs, I don't know if you guys watched the Chiefs game, but it was a great game.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
And they lost to the Bengals for those at home. who have for some time been one of the worst teams in the NFL and who look like an entirely different, rejuvenated roster that can beat anybody on their best day.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly true. Yeah. Jamar
Man,
Chase. Oh my God.
dude, I don't know who it was guarding Jamar Chase, but
That
I
poor
felt
soul.
so bad for that guy because I don't know, like I was watching Red Zone, so I was like, watching a couple other games, maybe I was doing some other stuff, but I swear every time the Bengals game came on, it was Joe Burrow throwing a high fly route to the outside and then Jamar Chase just mossing his defender so hard and the guy just had no chance. And it was literally like six of the exact same route over and over again. Joe Burrow just airs it out and he's there and just grabs it all over this defender. It's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember what was said about him just before he went on this absolute heater? Was they don't need to give him a gold jacket just yet. Uh, yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's doing well. They don't need to give him a gold jacket yet. They asked Joe Burrow after that game, like, did you like consider that at all? And he was like, maybe. Yeah, hell yeah. No, good for
Yeah.
him. I'm stoked for him. And the Bengals, I mean, like they've got weapons. I mean, their receiving core is nuts. When you've got Jamar Chase and then T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, like that's a solid three. And then you've got Joe Mixon in the backfield. Like that's a team. And Joe Burrow is like definitely stepping up and leading that thing. I'm on the I enjoy watching the Bengals succeed right now.
They're a blast to watch. The weakest part of their team right now is the offensive line and probably the tight end position. You don't see that many teams with young quarterbacks succeeding behind below average offensive lines, which is more credit to him. Although, frankly, if I had Jamar Chase on my team, I just throw sky ball 50-50 balls to him downfield every play, too. Yeah, I mean he had 11 receptions for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. As a monster game. By the way, he has to date right now in his rookie season. Sometimes it's easy to forget this is his rookie season.
Mhm.
He has 1,429 yards and 13 touchdowns. That
Gee,
is mind blowing. Mind blowing. He is fourth in the league right now in yards,
man.
and he is second in touchdowns. Fourth in yards, second in touchdowns. He's having a monster season. And this was a guy who they also criticized the Bengals for taking because offensive tackle Panay Sewell was still on the board. And they went, oh, how are you going to pass on an offensive tackle? Protect your quarterback. Your offensive line is trash. And they went, no, Jamar Chase is the best player available. We feel confidently about that. People didn't believe him. I wasn't sure that that was a smart decision. And here's Jamar Chase looking like the next face of the league. I mean, this guy's amazing.
Did you say how many receiving yards he has this season?
1,429.
If he gets like 50 some yards this next week, he'll break the all time the season receiving yards for a rookie.
Wow.
and
Hey, if he
that
gets
was made in 1960 was when that record was set.
wow, if he gets 71 yards, his rookie season is a 1,500 yard season.
Unreal.
Fucking wild.
For sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait, were you guys watching the game? The last minute was so confusing to me, where they like it was like 4th and 1 or whatever, and they ran it, and then there's this offsetting penalties that replays the down, and I'm like, what are you afraid of giving Patrick Mahomes 30 seconds? Really? Just kick the
I
field
think that's
goal.
exactly what they were afraid of.
I mean, obviously, but I'd like kick the field. I mean, it worked out for them. All credit to the coaching staff. They made a ballsy call, and it really worked out for them. They got to kick a field goal and didn't give the Chiefs the ball back at all. But it's 4th and 1, and it's tied with 30 seconds on the clock. You kick that field goal.
Well, I mean, look, that's a team. Chiefs are warriors of football, right? That's a team that like you can be up by all game, and then all of a sudden you're behind again. And hey, there's Super Bowl versus the Niners. Really, one big play, like that was all it took for them. They just sort of stayed in the game all game long, and then finally in the fourth quarter, one deep game breaking pass to Tyreek Hill, and the
Yeah.
whole thing's upside down. I think that's exactly what they were scared of.
No, I understand it. If there's anybody that you don't want to give any time on the clock, Patrick Mahomes is on the top of that list with Tom Brady, I'm sure. But it's like 30 seconds. It's not
Yeah,
even like a 2-minute drill. It's come on, 30 seconds. You
I
kick
hear you.
that field goal.
I'm with you. I'm kicking that field goal if it's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the Chargers and the Chiefs and Tom Brady all have one thing in common this week, and that they had a bad week. And Tom Brady had a bad week because what became a very important player on their team literally quit football at halftime. He stripped on the sidelines, walked through the field while they were playing, and
Deuces.
immediately went home and released a rap song. That's that is how his day went. And for those who have not watched anything sports related or heard anything at all, this is Antonio Brown, who has got to be the who has got to be like on the shortest leash of all time.
That's Antonio Brown with
He's problematic to say the least. Every team that signed him within the last like
running onto the field.
4 seasons has been taking like a huge gamble on him as a person. And this is a guy who was the best receiver in the league at one point. And
Oh
so
yeah,
they
I mean
take that gamble.
and
But
he was in conversation to be one of the best receivers of all time. Like he was
yeah,
that dominant for his stretch, and
yeah.
he's been playing really well for the Bucks. By
Oh,
all
for sure.
accounts, been a good sportsman. Chris Godwin, their number one guy, out for the season. They needed Antonio Brown, and in the last 2 minutes of the game, apparently Bruce Arians, head coach from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, told him get out there. Sorry.
The half.
Yes. Excuse me. Thank you.
Mhm.
Embarrassing. Yeah, told him to go out there. He refused. He said, either get out there or leave. And Antonio Brown picked the second option.
What a big guy.
Picked number 2.
Ace Deuces. That's wild.
Oh,
Which checks out. He was. Scott Hansen was having a field day with that one on Red Zone. He's like, what's he doing? Everybody doesn't know what he's doing. It was crazy. I mean, he was signed with the Bills and didn't play a single snap. He was signed with the Raiders and got released for stirring up drama. What he record like the locker room and made posts on social media?
that was actually Pittsburgh where he recorded the locker room. But
sorry. So Pittsburgh recorded the locker room. Right.
no, that was New England. And New England was they actually kept him through the allegations, but then it came out that when the allegations came out, he took his accuser, put her in a group chat with his buddies, and then started texting not very nice things to the group chat. And she took a screenshot, which you can do, and posted them. And then Robert Kraft was like, "All right, you got to go."
Well, in our inability to remember which scandal happened at which team, I think we have done an excellent job at highlighting how problematic Antonio Brown the person is.
Yeah, just since we didn't highlight what happened in Oakland, he refused to wear the team helmet because he liked a different helmet. And then he didn't show up for camp. They finally got him to show up for camp. He got in a shouting match apparently with the general manager, told him like suspend this, and then kicked the team's football into the stands, left, still wasn't released, had a conversation with then head coach John Gruden, recorded the conversation, posted it on Facebook in a montage about him generally not wanting to be on the Raiders, and then was released.
And then he joins the Bucs and gets in trouble for trying to fake his vaccination status, and then quits.
Yeah, and between the Patriots and the Bucs, he went to jail. and when he wasn't in jail, he called the cops on his mother of his child, who was trying to use a car. I mean, who knows what happened? But the video is a live video of him selfieing, yelling at the cops, and throwing penis-shaped gummy bears at the woman.
Man,
and then he filmed this of himself. He filmed himself doing this and posted it online.
Well, let's also give credit where credit's due. Matt, you said Tom Brady had a bad day because his friend quit, but Antonio Brown quit when the Bucs were down 10-24 to the Jets, and Tomar Bradley he ended the game with 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great day.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day.
He wants a Super Bowl, and Antonio Brown is one of the more important pieces of their offense.
Absolutely. Without
and
Godwin
he'll never play football again, for sure.
Yeah, no chance at this point. Without Godwin and Brown, I mean, they had Cyril Grayson got a touchdown in this game against the Jets. He's not gonna be a great
Tyler Johnson playing a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
Scotty Miller. I mean, that's your depth chart, right? You got Mike
Right.
Evans, you got Gronk, and then below that is Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, and whoever that guy you just named was.
Cyril Grayson, yeah, right, exactly. Which
Cyril-
isn't that's not
Joe
you know
Grayson.
it's not what you want. It's Tom Brady though.
Yeah.
Yeah, last couple weeks haven't been great for the Bucks. I mean, AB quit this week. And the week before that, Tom Brady smashed a tablet because he was angry.
Yeah,
Tom
I mean
Brady, though.
the things they have going for them are one, obviously, of Tom Brady. They still have a very good defense. Secondary is very injury ridden, but they still have a good defense, great D line. They have a very good offensive line, and they still have Mike Evans and Gronk on
Right,
offense.
yeah.
So you it's the wild thing about how stacked this team was is that you can lose two Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers and still have a championship roster. And
Yeah.
that's what's crazy. So can they still do it? Yeah, absolutely. You got Tom Brady and you got enough pieces. But you're right. This is not where they want to be right now.
No.
This is
No,
worst
not at
case.
all.
I mean, other than worst case scenario being like Tom Brady goes down,
Yeah.
outside of that, this is worst case scenario for them.
Yeah.
So I have some relatively bad news. I've been on mute on the stream this whole time.
I was like, oh no, what happened?
Oh no. So yeah, what I for our viewers, what happened is on the recording software, I can toggle my own mic volume as well as desktop audio, and my mic volume was off because you know what I did for our last episode where we just had the audio, I couldn't figure out how to get it on YouTube, so I just like recorded it through this software and I turned off my mic, dude. No way. Well,
So where Jeremy and I have been speaking and
You-
you've just been dead silent.
yes, exactly.
It's better than nothing.
That no, and we'll
We're
also
mysterious that way.
I'll still post it. They'll get the gifs, you know.
Now the viewer can respond to us.
Yes, yeah.
It's like Dora the Explorer.
It'll be
you
like
know?
Q&A. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you say penis-shaped gummy bear? Good.
Oh God. Jesus.
Nice, Cole.
Well, you know, we gotta hire like an in studio guy, you know, to take
Yeah,
care of
the
it.
Habit Burger hasn't really hooked us up with the studio yet.
To be honest, yeah, we've been kind of slacking on the advertisements, so I don't blame them for.
Everybody boycott Habit Burger until they give us a studio.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, let's start that trending. Everyone, go on Twitter and
We
start.
showed them
drag
the
'em.
carrot. Now we got to show them the stick.
Yeah. We gotta show them the rod. You know, Dennis Rodman.
Dennis.
Dennis Rod Dog.
Oh God.
Oh,
So,
no. Oh,
well,
no.
at least we're 40 minutes in, and we have hard cut off for an hour. So let's finish strong. Oh God, this is
This is what you get for firing Craig. Cole. You fired Craig. and
Yeah.
now we got-
Dude, Craig was great, except I couldn't figure out how to get the audio on YouTube, man. It's like you need some egghead to do that, you know. We need some.
I'll be honest, Cole. I was under the impression you were our egghead.
Yeah, I thought you were our egghead.
Yeah, it's hard to be an egghead and be, you know, the brains and the bronze.
On-screen talent and the brains.
And the
Well,
face.
I'm the
you know?
walrus.
It's like, who's the wild card? You know, wild card.
I can be your wild.
But yeah, going back to whatever we were talking about.
Oh, who even cares at this point?
Yeah, we got the content that the people want. Yeah, let's honestly though, Raiders play this last week, and it's basically for like whoever wants the spot.
Yeah.
That's a good matchup. Colts.
Niners had a big win this week that puts them sort of back in real playoff possibilities there.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's a tough one. I've heard both sides, like people saying, you know, stick with Garoppolo. He got him there before. Other people saying like you might as well start playing Trey Lance. You know, see what he does. You know, they traded up for him for that pick in quarterback.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, honestly, I look at this as if Trey Lance were ready to be a starting quarterback, he'd be the starting quarterback because they didn't pay all of those draft picks. They didn't use 3 first-round picks to go out and get him so that he could ride the bench for 2 seasons and then play in your 3rd season. They want him to be the man. They think he's going to be an elite quarterback. And if he was showing to be good enough to start on Sunday, they'd be fucking starting him.
Yeah, so
to me, he's clearly
did
just not
start.
ready.
So he did start, but I think that's because Garoppolo had a sore ankle or something.
An injury. Injury.
Yes.
I mean, more generally speaking, as far as
totally. I
when you
mean,
look
he was
long-term.
16 for 23, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like, that's not bad. I mean, that's
Oh no, it's not.
against the Texans, though. It's like, you know.
Yeah, and that's a stat line. I mean, that's something your Jimmy can do that all day.
Yeah. No, exactly. True.
You're not getting him so that he can put up 240 yards and give you, you know, a 2-to-1 touchdown interception. You want this guy to go out there and light it the fuck up.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Colts too? Colts are another one of those teams, kind of like the Bengals. It's just like up and down, man. Like Colts at the beginning of the season, everyone's like, "Wow, they have so many weapons." Like, you know, they were considered somewhat favorites in the AFC before the season. Didn't start out great. I mean, I think they lost at least 3 of their first 4 games or something. Kind of crawled back, but then they lost on Sunday. Who'd they lose to?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Game-winning field goal. Yeah, that was a tough loss for sure. I've been pretty hot on the Colts last couple weeks. Like, I mean, I think Carson Wentz is surprising a lot of people and doing super well. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, rushing yard leaders, dragged them to a number of victories, as he has my fantasy football team. So yeah, I think you're right. Consistency is their biggest thing because I think that they have a lot of the pieces. It's funny. At one point, I was like, Colts, they're just a bad team, and they've really shown that they're not. It's whether or not they can continue to be good consistently that I think they need. That's their worry.
Yeah, I'm skeptical that they're special enough to really go all the way. I think they got a really, really good offensive line. You've Carson Wentz at quarterback, which I guess jury's still out. He's certainly not a massive game changer. Jonathan Taylor's really good, but he's not Derrick Henry impactful on this team. Your best receiver is Pittman, I guess, Michael Pittman, who's solid. He's not elite either. And then you have a above average good defense. But again, they're not a dominant defense either. So I mean, what part of there's no dominant part of this team other than that offensive line. I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
guys feel like they can really beat some of these elite teams when it matters most?
No, I think they make it out of the first round. Like I think they have what it takes to make it out of the first round. I don't think they have what it takes to go all the way. But I will say, like
So they're
something that
Sorry.
Carson Wentz has done in the past is make big plays when it counts. So yeah, he hasn't been put in that situation for a while, but I think he could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Has he?
maybe as it stands. Yeah,
Has
I don't
he?
know. It was always Nick Foles when the chips were really
and
down.
now it's like
I mean,
the
he had some good
Eagles-
seasons, but
Yeah, Eagles have
I don't know.
Jalen Hurts, and like I don't know, Jalen Hurts looks like he's better than Carson Wentz. You know, like that's where
seems that way.
that's where I mean, I guess I didn't know what the Colts were gonna do because I mean, it's like either what Carson Wentz or Philip Rivers, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I thought when they beat the Cardinals, I was like, wow, they have something here. But then I think it turned out the Cardinals are just a really bad second half of the season team. And so I think that win did, now looking back, that win wasn't like as much, didn't mean as much, you know.
Well, look, as it stands right now, the Colts would play the Bengals in the first round of the AFC.
I mean, they
so
definitely
these are two
could win
teams
that
we've
game.
now talked about.
They definitely could win that. Honestly, like yeah, they could definitely win that game. They could
Bengals have also been inconsistent.
yeah.
So depending on how they're feeling that Sunday morning, it could go either way.
I would put my money on the Bengals.
I would too.
I agree. I think it's a bit of a coin toss, but
Yeah.
I would bet on the Bengals there. I just think they have better players.
Yeah, and I think here's what if the Colts score first, I think the Colts are gonna win. I watched their game against the Cardinals, and with Jonathan Taylor in their running game, they're so good at managing the game when they're ahead. Like
That's a very good point.
Carson Wentz is he's an average all around quarterback. He's a good game manager quarterback, someone who can just like convert on third downs, you know, when he needs to. He's not gonna like throw the lights out. And then they just give it to Jonathan Taylor, and they and then they run screen passes and run plays, and I think that will be the kicker right there.
That's a very good point. If they get behind early and they need to rely on him to really air it out and gain some ground back, you're right. That would be tough to imagine that really happen.
Yeah, like I could see the Bengals more like, even though I said the Colts will probably win, I could see like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, like they have like the Mahomes Tyreek Hill connection where it's like doesn't matter, like as long as they're in the game, they don't need to be ahead, they can come back and win. So they're very different play styles between the Colts.
So maybe it's more if the Bengals score first, the Colts are not likely to.
Yeah, because I just don't think Carson Wentz is going to throw them back into the game.
I agree. I agree.
So I think overall, yeah, I'd take the Bengals probably as well.
For the 49ers here, they're really on the bubble. If they lose this week and the Saints win, they could overtake them and take that spot. And they play the Rams next.
Yeah.
So this is going to be probably a great game and a tough one. You got a must-win game, division rivals, a very good team in the Rams versus who knows how good this team is, team in the 49ers. Honestly, I don't know how I've seen double-digit 49ers games this year, and I still am not sure if it's a good team or not. We're 16 games in for them, and I'm still like, I don't know, this is a good team.
Well,
sometimes they look great,
and that is, and you even said like the Rams are a really good team. like as a Rams fan, I'm like, are they a really good team? They win games, which is great, but just like Matthew Stafford has to throw like 2 or 3 picks to like win those games. I just think in the playoffs, like that can turn around so quick. Turnovers in the playoffs can turn around the game so quick in the playoffs.
As a Niners fan, though, I'd put money on the Rams.
Oh, totally agree.
I saw a super interesting stat. I think when Odell went to the Rams, there was kind of a lackluster kickoff where, Matt Stafford had some pretty stinker games right after he joined. But now after this weekend, he's had 5 touchdowns with the Rams.
Yeah.
Which, if you put that in context, he had
4. What was it?
7 total touchdowns with the Browns in his career there.
No, and
over, was it 3 seasons?
Yeah, something like that.
He was hurt. He was hurt partially, but yeah.
Still.
No, I watch all the Rams games. It is that I saw that stat too, and it amazes me how they did not. Even just finding him in the red zone, he is one of those, like, he's not super tall. He's not like the fastest receiver out there. He's just really good route runner, like in the end zone, especially like one-on-one. And it's just like, how did they not utilize him more in the red zone? Like it, and that is just a testament.
His hands are so good. His touchdown that he got this weekend, it was like a really, really simple flat route to the side. And the thing that impressed me was how quickly he caught the ball and turned to put it into the corner of the end zone before running out of bounds. Because it was like just snag and put it there, and I was like, "Holy shit, he got it there!" That's a X factor like ability that's like not exactly easy to see all the time and quantify, but in the red zone, like that's super vital and really valuable.
Yeah, no, he came up clutch. He came up.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. If they make a run, he's gonna have to be a pretty significant part of that.
Yeah, and yeah, it go. I mean, that's another team. There's a lot of teams to talk about. That's another end spectrum, I guess. Of we got 7 minutes left, by the way. But another end of, or the spectrum of like teams when it comes to playoff pictures, like who's not in there, and the Browns are definitely one of those teams that people picked to go to the Super Bowl. I think foolishly. I didn't see it. Especially, I think I'm on the side for Baker Mayfield, where he's an average to below average quarterback.
It seems that way.
And some people still believe in him. He has been hurt all season. But, I mean, even when he wasn't hurt, I don't know, with the amount of offensive weapons, the run game that he has at his disposal, an amazing run game makes any quarterback look amazing. But he still somehow managed to look really, really bad. And just the interceptions is just insane. I mean, 5, 4,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like Baker, and I think he has intangibles that are important to be quarterback for the Browns, just because of that's such a shit show team to be a part of, and you really have to be able to rally and make people believe in your team, because it's the Cleveland Browns and their default expectation is to not believe in you. And he, I think, has that sort of energy that people will rally behind. Sort of like Cam Newton does. That's why I think Cam Newton keeps getting jobs, right? It's like he has this energy that people follow him. But you're right. He's had everything he could possibly ask for on this team. and it just keeps going bad. And it doesn't always look like his fault, but if it keeps going bad and you're a common denominator every time, at some point it's just your fault.
Jarvis Landry and OBJ have just like the most impressive hands in the game. Like if you gave them a really accurate quarterback, they're going to find success. I mean, OBJ in New York was fucking unreal. And that's because he had a quarterback putting it only where he could get it, and he can grab those balls. And that's not what Baker was doing. Baker was throwing. He was just throwing.
No, and that's the thing that I think like Baker Mayfield didn't do correctly with OBJ. He's not someone like you do still have to put it on the money. You can't just air it out with him. Like he's not like Keenan Allen or Jamar Chase, where you can just throw it up and the guy's so tall he can just jump and grab it. No, he needs to be like in the right position, and you need to throw it to him in that right position for him to make that catch.
Yeah, and he did struggle with drops, especially early on
He did.
for the Browns.
Oh yeah, totally.
He really did, but it's not hard to just look at a ton of examples of watching them not go to him as a real significant option. And he's a better player than Jarvis Landry. He always has been.
For sure.
And especially downfield. Jarvis Landry is a great option to get you 7 yards. Mm-hmm. Odell will get you 30 or 40. And they just did not use him well. Baker has not been successful downfield significantly. And he clearly, Odell he had his drama in New York, but he was never a guy who was beefing with Eli. He's never been somebody who's butting heads with his quarterback. And here he clearly had real resentment for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. So something was not going right there.
At least his dad did, for sure.
Yeah.
The montage. That's so
yeah, the montage.
I will say, for the first time in Odell's career, he's getting number 2 coverage because Cooper Kupp is number 1 on every defender's list. And so for the first time in Odell's career,
that is true.
He is not dealing with the team's best corner every single Sunday.
He's
getting number 2. And he is capitalizing.
And it really has, it has unlocked the Rams' offense and unlocked OBJ's just ability too. I mean, you could see
if
that
Robert Woods didn't get hurt, it would be so dangerous. Having to pick between your number 2 coverage between Robert Woods and OBJ, that'd be insane.
It would have looked like the Bucs team. It would have looked like the Bucs. You had Godwin and Mike Evans and Antonio Brown and Gronk. Yeah. That team was dumb. That's what the Rams had the potential of being. Unfortunately for the Bucs, they got their injuries and meltdowns at an unfortunate time of the season. Rams had it early, and they were able to plug that gap.
That is true. I'm hesitant on Stafford. I don't know. He's somewhat of a mystery. He's one of those players who's like, he's an above average quarterback and a below average quarterback at the same time, and
impressive.
And it's I just think in the playoffs, I'm just so curious. I'm so curious what's like, how his play is going to really impact.
It's going to be fun. And this Rams team is a fun team to watch.
Oh, my God.
Sean McVay's teams are fun to watch. Odell's fun to watch. Cooper Kupp's fun to watch. I mean,
Von
it's
Miller,
going to be a blast.
Aaron Donald. Yeah, they get Cam Akers back, too, on
glued
Sunday.
to that Rams-Niners.
Do you guys think Cooper Kupp gets all-time receiving title this next week?
Yes.
135 yards. He's 135 yards.
I think he gets it, and I think Jamar Chase gets his 1,500-yard rookie season. I think they both hit their records.
Yeah, so wait, what?
I will say it's a bit. Is there an extra week? Or or is there an extra game? It's not that there's an extra
Both.
game. It's both.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is somewhat qualified in that regard against the
Yes.
previous records.
Yeah,
So
it
we got
is.
an extra game to do it. But that's still pretty nuts, and it's super cool that Stafford's the guy throwing the ball in both of those records.
Yeah, that's true. He threw it to Calvin Johnson, and now he's throwing it to Cooper Kupp.
I mean, that's the one thing about Stafford. He is good at the long ball, but once a game, he'll throw a long ball, and it's just a little bit too short. And
He's got a little Jameis in him. He's got a little Jameis
A
Winston in him.
wild card.
Yeah, just a little. You were asking earlier. Of course, nobody heard you asking it earlier. But you asked earlier who the wild card was. I think the answer is Matthew Stafford.
no, and that is where he's an above or a below average quarterback in those instances, and that's just the wild card in him. He's just like, OBJ's down there, make a great catch, and we'll get 50 yards, whatever, something crazy amount of yards for a throw, but it's like he's triple covered, and it's just like, just lay it off for Henderson or
Out of bounds.
Cooper Kupp or just anything else, and he'll just that decision making. He errs on the side of just trying to throw the long ball.
Well, and I
Ryan
think
his
it's
whole
really,
career.
it's really possible that just because he's in Detroit so long, he had been relied upon to carry the team to victories
That
week
is true.
after week.
That is true.
And now you're on a team where you don't have to do that. Just play within the offense. Don't turn the ball over. Make the right play. Settle for the check down. These chains are going to keep moving. You don't have to be the man
No, you
all
can.
the time here.
He could literally throw it on a slant route to Cooper Kupp every time, and they would just
You win games.
That would
Yeah.
just
Funny we got to get a graphic of Cooper Kupp standing next to Calvin Johnson, because for these two guys to hold the record and just be polar opposite players is hilarious. Calvin Johnson was Megatron.
Yeah.
This guy shouldn't have existed, and yet he was out there running like a horse. And then you have Cooper Kupp, who, he's pretty built now, and he's got that nice lumberjack beard he's coming
Yeah.
out, but this is not a big dude. He's not a dude that wins with physicality at all. This was a guy who was playing slot receiver when he first came in exclusively because he just had quick feet and good hands. And now he's easily by far the best wide receiver in football this year. I mean, just not close.
Calvin Johnson has 3 inches and like 45 pounds on him.
What's Calvin Johnson's dimensions?
Calvin Johnson is 6'5", 236,
Jeez.
and Cooper Kupp is 6'2", 194.
So he's actually 6'2". A little bigger than I thought he
Yeah,
was.
I thought he was shorter than that.
He's no, it's because Cooper Kupp always catches it. Like the way his routes are, he always catches it like in the pocket. He's not like
He
one of
runs
those-
small too.
Yeah, he hunches. He's a huncher.
He's a huncher.
Say that.
I've got a question for you guys. I'm looking at the NFL playoff picture here. We got Titans, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Chargers, Colts, Patriots, Packers, Rams, Bucks, Cowboys, Cardinals, 49ers, Eagles. Is there a single team here that you think doesn't have real question marks attached? Like, are there any teams here that you're like 100%, this team is fantastic, I'm not worried about them at all?
Packers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fair answer. I mean, we watched them get blown out by the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, there are question marks here and there. I just think, like, Packers compared to the Bucks in terms of question marks, it's a mountain of difference, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing about the NFL playoffs being single elimination is like it really relies on the team to be on their hitting their stride.
I'd say because there's a couple of these teams that like Cowboys. Like, I don't think that there's any big question marks associated with them. It's just whether or not they put it together or not.
Yeah, I would say there's some question marks. I don't think Dak Prescott. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, honestly.
Pretty good.
You know,
He's pretty good.
I would say out of everyone in the playoff picture, you know, like he's probably.
Well, we don't even know who the Niners' starting quarterback is.
Well, that is true.
How the hell are they in the playoffs right now?
It's Debo,
Don't mind
dude.
me.
Yeah. No, I just think,
Honestly.
I think Dak is like such a roller coaster, and he needs. There's some crazy stat where he's like 1-5 this season when the Cowboys don't rush for like X amount of yards, like enough yards to.
Yeah, and they have been. The story for the Cowboys to me all season has been they're beating bad teams and they're losing to good teams.
Yeah, they're like 2-4 against good teams this season.
Yeah, they're blowing out bad teams and then losing.
And
close
Ezekiel
games to
Elliott
good
is just not like what he used to be. I mean, I think
That's
he's
true.
injured.
He's not what he used to be.
And Tony
And
Pollard.
we talked about Trevon Diggs. That secondary leaves a lot to be
It's a
desired.
liability. You're right. You're right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know, I think Cardinals too. You know, that's a good point. I think it'll be one of the more interesting playoffs in terms of like the question marks there.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I don't see any dominant favorites here. The Bucks, I think, have enough things working against them. The Chiefs have had a tough season. The Packers have a lot of great pieces, but we year after year see them just hit brick walls versus really good teams.
Yeah, I mean, no, that is true. I you know.
I don't know what's changed. I mean, what makes this Packers team better than it was last year?
No, I totally agree. Like
Nothing.
that
Nothing.
crazy.
An Aaron Jones that's not doing as well. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the Buccaneers embarrassed them last year.
yeah, and that's the one thing with like the Packers and you know Aaron Rodgers. I think they've only been they went to the Super Bowl once, right, in his tenure, and they won, but they don't actually like don't tend to get that far that often, you know, and
it's wild because if you had asked this question, you know, a couple days ago, I would have said Bucks in a heartbeat, having no question marks attached to them at all. It's wild. Like, I wouldn't have thought AB being there or not would swing the answer to that question for me so much.
I mean, he's still good. That's why do you think they kept him
you're right.
around? I mean, you know, if he was a bad
Well,
wide
and
receiver,
especially in the absence of Chris Godwin,
Yeah,
that's where
yeah.
he became so much more valuable.
even when they
But I
had Chris
still-
Godwin, they threw.
Yeah, you're right.
They threw.
But I still
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't think that AB leaving would give me as large of a question mark around the Bucks' playoff chances as it has.
It's also just it's drama at the wrong time.
Yeah.
They showed some vulnerability against the Jets, right? A championship team doesn't give the Jets 20 points in the first half, right? Like that's very uncharacteristic of a supposedly elite defense. Antonio Brown walks off the field. Chris Godwin's out for the season. They've had injuries to their secondary as well. Not everything is roses for them right now. And I actually can't wait for the playoffs now that AB and Godwin aren't there. And I love watching Godwin. And AB's a great player, so I don't mean it as against them. But when Tom Brady stepped into this and you watched him pretty much cruise to that Super Bowl, they steamrolled almost everybody. He played great, but also was like he had 3 Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers and Gronk on a team with arguably the best offensive line in football. That's no longer the case. He now has a very good offensive line, 1 very good wide receiver, Gronk, and some other guys. This is a good offense. It's
also
a very
the
good
defense.
offense.
I mean,
But he's not
defense,
sitting in a cushy chair anymore.
Yeah, and the defense, man, last postseason was remarkable. I mean,
Yeah,
it transformed. I like, especially in the Super Bowl, it was just like, who is this team? And, you know, hopefully they can do that again. You know, you know, it's lightning doesn't tend to strike twice. You know, that's kind of where I'm at, and especially like it could be a morale thing too. You know, that's maybe why they did so well.
Tom Brady, though. I mean, like, for AB to walk off and then for him to put up 14-0 against the Jets to take the win, that's
Yeah.
that's
That is true.
just goat shit. That's why he's Tom Brady.
I do have to say the AFC, if it was to, if the AFC were to close now and this was the matchups for the first few games, Chiefs Chargers, classic matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really good game. I mean, Chargers should have won that game, but it was a really good game when they played last time. Bengals Colts, I think, really good game. Coin
Interesting
toss.
game for sure.
Bills Patriots, like those
Blast.
are those
Battle in New York.
that really that I mean, it's gonna be a fun postseason. Those are all three of those games, like, would be a blast to watch.
Yeah, you're right. Those are great matchups. These are really fun teams. NFC is going to be fun too. If it stood like this, if it stays like this rather. Cowboys Cards be a really good game. That'll be a blast of a game to watch. Niners Bucks might sting a little if you're a Niners fan, because I have a hard time imagining Trey Lance is going to beat Tom Brady in a
and then
playoff
Eagles
game.
Rams. I think the AFC just has more contenders packed in, you know, because I could see it's not like a crazy Twilight Zone world where like Chargers beat upset the Chiefs, or, you know, Colts beat the Bengals, you know.
Absolutely. You know what's wild? Because a month and a half ago, when we were all sitting here, we were looking at the NFC and going, man, these guys are stacked. And then these teams sort of, like, a lot of these teams sort of started to fall apart.
Dude, really? Like, I mean, Cardinals,
yeah.
dude, you asked someone before they went on this losing streak like 4 weeks ago or whatever about the Cardinals, they'd be like, oh yeah, like,
Dude, I made a bet with Matt that they win the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does
I'm feeling good about that.
I don't even know if they'll beat the Cowboys, you know?
No,
Yeah. San Francisco, Philly, Minnesota. I mean, the hell's going on in Minnesota? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This is even Carolina. I mean, Carolina started off the season really strong, and you were like, man, another big team in the NFC, and then they went out
when they picked up,
got Stephon Gilmore during their win streak, and then they just lost. They've gone 2 for 11.
Yeah, when they got Cam, when they first got Cam, it was like, we want to keep our playoff hopes alive. Like they were pushing for, you know, playoff spot.
McCaffrey just body can't stay together.
He's like D from Always Sunny. He's got glass bones, you know. Like,
yeah, glass bones.
I thought you meant he was a bird.
He might be a bird. He might be a bird. Might. Well, I think that's our hour. We went actually over our hour.
I think so.
But that's
Yeah,
your
I think
fault.
we should.
That was your fault.
Let's
Matt.
hop on some Rams. Let's watch the Rams Niners game together next week.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'd
we
be
can
down.
do some live talk about it.
Yeah, no,
I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty fun.
A little live stream with the boys.
Live stream, boys. Cooper Cup. You know, here's one more. You know, a few images of Cooper Cup. You know, look at him. It's a good-looking dude.
Well, Cole, send us off.
All right, that'll do it. That was probably our shortest one yet. I'm really proud of us for going under like an hour and a half or whatever. Even though we're only 16 minutes from there.
Well, if you don't count the part where they can't hear you, it's even shorter.
True. I mean, that was good content. That was really good content. You guys missed it. That's why we
Be
need to.
there. You should have been there.
We
It's
set
actually
up.
part of the exclusive premium upgrade package. If you want that
True.
portion of the audio, you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah, go
$9.99
to your
once a
local
month.
Habit Burger
Ven-
and get
Venmo me like Tree Fitty, and we'll hook you up with the rest of the audio.
Yeah,
We'll
true.
release the exclusive clip.
Oh my god. But yeah, so yeah, it sounds like we're thinking of doing a, last week of the regular season for the NFL. We'll do Rams, Niners. We'll do an episode going over that game and all the ins and outs, and trying to see if Cooper Kupp will break the record. So yeah, you catch us on Sunday. That game's at. Midday. And make sure to like and subscribe on all the stuff: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.
Oh, yeah. Deuces.